now listening to the Gabba Gabba Hunt Talks podcast, where we bring you conversations with people connected to the Carolinas underground music scene. Hey, and welcome to the Gabba Gabba Hunt Talks podcast. Now, this is episode 5 of the Gabba Gabba Hunt podcast, but the first episode of the Gabba Gabba Hunt Talks podcast. Now, what's the difference between the Gabba Gabba Hunt Talks and the Gabba Gabba Hunt radio podcast? Well, if it's not obvious, the radio podcast is going to be more music driven. There'll be a little bit of me talking about the songs, but mostly it's just going to be songs. The Gabba Gabba Hunt Talks podcast is going to be interviews. Now, you'll hear music on it as well, but it is mostly talking to people that currently play in bands and that have played in bands over the years in the North Carolina music scene. Focused mostly on Charlotte just because it's geographically easier for me. However, on the next episode, I'll have someone that lives in Durham currently and has been involved in not only the Charlotte scene, but the Boone scene and the Triangle scene as well. So I do hope to branch out, but the majority of episodes will be Charlotte heavy. Now, before I get started on this episode, I do have a few things from the corrections department. On episode 1, the Popes on Dope song I played at the end, I said it was recorded on a jam box. I'm pretty sure that was recorded on a 4-track that we borrowed from our friend Gerbil. His name's Jeremy, but we called him Gerbil at the time. However, we really didn't know what we were doing, so it sounds like crap anyway. On the last episode, I said the name of the Inhumanity CD incorrect. The actual name of that CD is History Behind the Mystery / Music to Kill Yourself By. I had said History Behind the Music. And on this episode, at the end, we're talking about an insert in the Charlotte Observer. Pretty sure the name of that was Break. We said Extra or Focus, but I think it was Break. Now on to this week's episode. On this episode, I have one of my favorite bands in Charlotte, Negulators. These guys have been around the North Carolina music scene for a long time. A couple of these guys go back to the early 80s in bands like 30 Foot Beast and Subculture. I will throw a disclaimer out there. There is a lot of talking over each other on this episode, although I've tried to cut that down, and the fact that I use separate mics made it possible for me to pull some of that down in the mix so that you can hear the person telling the main story. This is an unfortunate byproduct of doing an interview with the whole band, especially once alcohol gets involved. However, there's some great stories in here, and really, it's not that bad. It actually gets much worse, but that didn't end up making the cut. However, there are usable bits in that last 30 minutes of recording that I have, and those will see the light of day sometime. You'll hear more about that soon. Also, when this episode ends, it just kind of ends. There's no what's next for the Negulators. We just didn't get to that. However, I'll come back once everything's over and tie everything up at the end. But since this episode already clocks in at an hour and a half, I'm going to go ahead and shut up and get right to the episode. We can even go ahead and start talking now.
I don't care.
You can take that out.
Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, don't quote me on that. And then I woke up.
And then it woke up into Nirvana to the germs.
Thanks,
yeah, it's too good. Nirvana. Don't quote me on that. The germs.
So I really don't know how I'm going to
Then it woke
start.
up.
How I'm going to start everything. But you guys are are Negulators, not the Negulators. I have to catch myself.
When we first started doing that, the flyers, I would accidentally put the in there, and Bo would like go, Chris.
Well, you know, everybody,
And it's true.
every fucking
Yeah,
band has, every fucking band has the,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, no,
the
no.
this, that. And it's just like, God damn it, fuck that. I didn't want to do it.
Well, that's like, I mean, I don't know how long ago it was, but for the longest time I thought Ramones were the Ramones.
Yeah.
I would always just say the Ramones
Well,
because it's
actually-
natural to say that, but
Yeah.
but
Right.
they're actually just Ramones. There's no the there.
Right.
But I think that's a common mistake people make for certain bands like that.
Right. That's true. That's a good point, you know.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that Repo
They're
Record
not called good ones.
was Repo Records.
Yeah.
Or Repo Records.
Well, that's the thing. It's like
I always thought it was Repo Records.
It used to be plural, but when he reopened, it was something about there's somebody else using that name out there.
right.
And so he just decided to just call it Repo Record because of something. I can't remember if it's a website or somehow he just legally couldn't use records.
Oh wow, really?
I don't know the whole story on that. I just know that it has something.
Yeah,
to do
he
with
got in touch with me when I did the flyer for this show today.
I
And he's
might
like,
do
going,
that,
"There's
but
no S in
I
there."
don't
I went,
Yeah.
Really?
I don't want you.
Okay, got it.
it. I'm surprised he actually
But it
contacted you
sounds
about
right.
this.
It
Yeah,
sounds right to say Repo Records.
They do have a lot of records in there.
Yeah, they got not one. There's not one.
I
record.
bought one.
That was killer, dude. I love that. That was fun. Yeah. The smoke. Oh my god, dude. We had a show. Lights and
Yeah,
smoke.
I can pretty much hear the whole conversation on the
Yeah, I
end of the
bet you
phone
can.
for this thing. Actually,
yeah.
that's fine. No, it's
Let him say something.
I better jump.
Hey Kelly, we can hear everything you're saying.
Yeah, you're part of our podcast. So
What are you gonna say something?
Yeah.
Shit.
okay.
yeah. I'll cut all that out. That's why like doing the mics, the 3 different mics, I can probably work if I use any of what we just talked about.
Right.
We don't have to use
She's
any.
got
Of it.
Well, I don't have a phone right now.
She's got a buzz.
Right now, I'm just getting conversation rolling, and then I'll pick and choose what.
Yeah.
Bigfoot.
Well,
But who knows?
I didn't mean to bring the phone to the podcast, but it's just that I got some questions for you, and they're on my phone, and I don't remember.
Oh,
them,
that works. So
we can get to that
This is
whenever.
gonna be a call and answer.
So I think I've asked you guys before, but I guess it's worth putting on the podcast at least. The name Negulators, does it really mean much of anything, or just a cool word you like? Or
Well, I mean, the idea of that was it's a playoff regulator. Not like deregulators like the characters from Stephen King and all that shit, but just, it's just a play off of like a regulator or like, an actual physical part. It could be on a machine or part of your car or like part of the government official office thing, whatever.
Branch.
And it's just sort of like, it's a little bit, it could be considered like anti, regulation, but then again, I'm not like some anti-regulation person. I'm happy that we have an EPA and all that.
Do you want to
So
jump
like-
off a bridge?
so, like
No,
while a regulator would keep things moving kind of smoothly,
Right,
Negulator
right.
would just be like,
We just let it go.
Fuck no,
Yeah,
just cuts
yeah.
it off. Just
Yeah.
Just no, yeah, it's kind of opposite, yeah, and I just thought it sounded punk rock too.
I like it.
I just thought it sounded punk rock. I was like, that sounds kind of punk rock. Fuck.
I
I like
really
it
like
too,
it.
man. I was like, I'm in.
So-
To me, it's that. Remember calling that? That one person, like walking by the bridge one day, and was like, "Don't jump." Next thing you know, we got down the road, and there was somebody fucking on the bridge, and they fucking had it isolated. It's like, what the fuck? Ooh, they need Negulators right there. No, no. Now, wait a
There
minute.
was, holy shit, on
Tell
the
me
way
your
to
life
practice one
history. I
day.
don't care.
On the way to practice one day, we were driving
up.
down 277. No, 277.
Brooks
And there was
Freeway.
cops and everything, and there's a guy just standing he was on the bridge, you're one,
Right on the bridge.
right
over,
on the
like,
goddamn bridge, ready to jump.
College Street or some shit.
And I was like, holy
He's on the other
shit.
side of it. The firemen are like all walking up all slow. It's like, what the fuck? And when we got home, I was like, was there anything on the news today? It was nothing.
Yeah.
So I guess he's okay.
Yeah,
that's
he
fine.
didn't do it.
Good for him.
He didn't do it.
Yep. But the other thing about the name is like, might as well pick a good name for your band too, because it sucks to be in a band with a shitty name. And,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've been lucky though. Like bands I've been in, most of them had cool names. So I was like, yay, makes
Really?
things.
I've always liked the names of our bands, but
Action
like,
19.
Nah. I didn't like that name, and I came up with that stupid name.
well, see, I came up with the Accidents when we were the Accidents.
That's a cool
but,
name.
Yeah, that's a killer name.
And we
Hell.
kind of did it because we had this conversation where we all were talking about how we were accidental kids. We weren't planned or anything like that. I don't really know if that's all true, but we did that, and then there's a bunch of other bands called the Accidents. So
yeah.
kind of in the back of my mind, I was always like, well, if we have to, we'll be the Los Accidentes. And ultimately we became that because
really?
Our MySpace page got taken down, and then after, there were like 5 or 6 the Accidents on MySpace. And then all of a sudden my page was gone. It was taken down for copyright reasons or whatever. And then I got to look, and there's only one band called the Accidents left, and they're actually a pretty good band, so I let them have it. And we just went with Los Accidentes. But that's another thing, is you've got to come up with a name that's original, because something kind of generic like that has probably been used or will be used.
Right.
Who's going to come up with Negulators?
I don't know.
Nobody's
I
going to say.
have a stupid one to throw out. The first band I was ever in was in high school. It was called the Cool Dudes. That's the dumbest
You
name
probably
ever.
were cool
Our music
dudes
was
too.
dumb.
Oh, yeah.
Our music was dumb, though. We made it on purpose like that, but that was I'm ashamed. I'm not ashamed of that name, but we were being stupid, but I was, in the retrospect, like, I had people come up to me that I went to high school with, that I have ran into, and said, "Man, you still got that Cool Dude stuff on you?" He's like, "Shut up, man. Are you serious?" Yes, I do, though. You know what? Yes, I do.
Yeah. Well, it's a cool enough name until you put it on a 45, and it's like, I don't know.
We did that.
Yeah, I know. It's like, I don't know. How
We
cool
took it that
name
far,
is
yeah.
anymore.
Anyway, yeah, the Cool Dudes. Yeah, there's a name for it. When I started with Bo right here, had a drum set. My parents got me a really cheap one and a 1-string acoustic guitar.
Oh yeah, I remember
We
that.
recorded a couple of songs on that shit.
Yeah,
and
we
I
did.
won't even go into detail about it, but it's like that was the initial beginning. I was like, I was trying to play drums. I was trying to emulate Ringo Starr from Hard Day's Night, where you see him, you know, when they play their last show at
I forgot about
the
that.
thing at the end of the movie, and they're going behind him and watching everything he's doing. You see the hi-hat, you see his foot. I was already playing snare drum only at that time. My parents got me a drum kit, but we recorded a couple of songs, and we weren't named anything. That was the first foray into music. We recorded it, and I I fucking put it up, and found it years later, and the thing that got me was like the music. You know it's going to be horrible.
Yeah.
You know it's going to be horrible. It was a 1-string acoustic guitar and me playing a kind of drum beat, like Rock Lobster, like really badly. You know, some kind of thing.
That's back when you tracked with 2 different jam boxes.
Yeah.
So you do music on one, and then you hit play, and then hit record on the other one.
What got me was us talking. I found the tape like way later, and we were going, "Hey, man."
and
Like,
honestly,
what in the fuck we sound like this?
Yeah, we
on
did.
top of what, the bad music we're playing, but it's like we sounded like rednecks, man. Like we got to stop this.
We sounded like Lake Wiley.
something else.
Yeah.
But so, and I kind of want to do this so I can, maybe the listeners can know who we're talking to. Jeff,
Right.
Jeff, you were just the one telling the story. And so
Yeah,
I'm going to ask
yeah.
you just mentioned that you and Bo, you can go ahead and say something right now.
Hello?
This is Bo. If you can figure all that out. But the first time you guys played it, because you guys have been playing together since at least 1985, right?
Yeah.
It's Subculture, right? You played in
Well,
Subculture from 85
No,
to
no,
87?
because original Subculture, we weren't members.
Well, I knew you weren't original members, but you were in...
85, 86, something like that.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But I mean, I met him when I was like, I don't know, like 77 or so. I'm trying to get too long, but like, okay, so check it out.
dude.
Check this out.
For it.
When I was a little kid,
We searched for Bigfoot like for 5 years before we went to.
when I was a little kid, and my parents were divorced, my mom like married some jackhole, and he was all like, well, you can't treat the kids, and it was keeping my dad from seeing us and shit like that. They would do stuff like take off on visitation days and just not be home on none of us and all that. So my dad shows up one day, unannounced, and like sitting there watching cartoons, and he comes in the door, and basically my stepdad attacked him. And so they're fighting, and then my grandma comes in with a fucking gun. She pops a cap in his ass.
Wow.
So, but fast forward, I didn't get to see my dad for a while when I was little. And when I finally started getting to see him again, he lived in Lake Wiley. That's where Jeff and his family lived.
Yeah.
So we
Right
go
down
down
the
there like
street.
on weekends and shit, and it was fucking fun as hell, dude. And then that's where we met, like on a... Dad got us a go-kart, and it was cool because you could like fucking jerk around on the dirt road and all that stuff. And his dad and brothers, they like went into some woods and cut a track. And so we were out there like one day, like, you know, doing time trials on this track in the woods or whatever.
It was cool. Yeah, very cool.
And
Yes.
and then me and him had about the same time. That's the first time I ever met Jeff, so it was like fucking weird. So
Yeah.
yeah, I've known him forever.
Well,
So
my
you-
favorite, I'll add to that.
Sorry,
growing
man.
up- Yeah, no. One of my things is big tree in front of Bo's house. We both lived with the lake in front of us. The lake was right there. Yeah, lakefront property kind of thing. Cheap back in the 70s. But he had a big tree come down across one half of his yard that went to the neighbor's yard, probably 10 feet off the bank.
Yeah.
It was right there, and then it was water. And in dead cold winter, when it got cold, I'm going to say it's 70 degrees right now in January.
Yeah,
This is true.
It was like 19 degrees at this time, and we would make sure we're fully clothed. He would get on one end of the tree, I would get on the other, because the tree fell onto another bank too, and we would go in the middle and go, you know that game. He was going in the water first,
Oh,
baby.
fuck right. Yeah,
He was going to the water first.
Yeah.
You or me, king of the tree or whatever. I don't know what to call
or
it.
Doc. Didn't matter.
I show up back
in
in
the winter.
I show up back at my parents' house and cold as hell with all my clothes on, you know, with the wet as hell and cold as hell.
Man, we get in trouble.
And they're
for
like,
that
"What
shit.
did you do?" Like, played King of the Tree. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, he had to be there.
Yeah, I got in trouble for that shit. It's like,
So, like,
I'm sorry, but yeah.
so you were talking about like the sort of the first pretend band you had where you were just sort of playing drums and
Oh, hell yeah,
string
yeah.
guitar? Was that before
First-
Subculture? Was there? Did you have a real band before that?
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. So, why don't you could say something, or maybe talk about you and
30
Fred.
Foot Beast?
Yeah, well, 30 Foot
Yeah.
Beast, yeah, definitely. So, like, talk about you and
30
Fred.
Foot Beast?
Yeah, well, 30 Foot
Yeah.
Beast, yeah, definitely. So, like, 30 Foot Beast, like, it was, Fred Hutchinson, he
Yeah,
also
I know
was from
Fred.
Subculture as well, like, when we were in it, or...
From
I wasn't
East Gaston
sure
High
which came
School.
first, 30 Foot Beast or Subculture. so
Subculture
this is
technically was around before 30 Foot Beast, or
Yeah.
roughly the same time, and 30 Foot Beast originally was formed and even played live when I lived in Florida. I moved back up here, and Fred tapped me for bass, and we started practicing out at his parents' out other lake, whatever. It doesn't matter. So we started playing like through the like winter and all that shit. And during that time, when I was in it, like he the year before had been playing bass in Subculture when they did a smaller like U.S. tour
Oh,
or
no,
East Coast, right?
wait,
Wasn't it true?
wait. Yeah, no, wait. All right, Fred Hutchinson. I learned with him in we all three, I'll say all three of us were like, we didn't know what we're doing. Like, that bare beginnings of stuff. I have tapes to back this up, which Fred got copies of, though. In a 90-minute tape, we went
I think
fucking
it's-
full speed, by the end of it. And it's
I'm
like a
still on
6-month period.
MySpace.
I'm not fucking saying
30 Foot
anything.
Beast.
But we adapted with Fred. Fred was like, he didn't know anything either. We didn't either. Bo was like barely getting it. And we fucking got a good band together. The Subculture, man, came by. They fucking put a record out. This is a really good standout record. Stand out. I would say that. I heard a Scream by
Yeah,
Subculture.
I've listened to it. It's
As soon as
great.
they put it out, man, the fucking singer, I mean, not the singer,
Bass player.
the bass player quit. Clint Buss. I'll
Yeah.
go and say that name too.
Ed
He quit.
Marshall.
That's what I heard. And Ed Marshall, their second guitar player, quit. And they're like, man, we just already booked a tour, and fucking they were talking to people, and we happened to happen on that, It's like, fuck, I'll play bass. I had to buy a bass to do it, I went to practices with them and all that, and fucking did it. They're like, we already have a tour booked. I was going, who are these guys that quit? That's what I was
Yeah,
thinking.
right.
The whole
Why
time.
would
I was
you
like,
quit this
why
band?
did you do that?
No shit.
We had nothing but fun. And then the second time around, the singer quit, man.
Oh wow!
And then I took his place, and Bo fucking came in on bass. And
Yeah.
it was,
And in between
Insane.
in between those two
it's
tours,
good. It's like, why do these people quit, though? That's my main thing about it. Why did they quit this band in the first place?
Yeah. Like in '86, Subculture, they toured
made me see
mostly
the
more
United
East Coast,
States.
and I wasn't really part of that. I was rode with them for a little bit.
Yeah.
On my way back to Florida. That's where the Subculture and No Effects came together, actually, first time, like in Raleigh and Atlanta. And then they went on down Florida, blah blah blah. They toured together for that tour with Jeff on bass, Fred on guitar, and then. So we did like I said, the 30 Foot Beast through the winter, and then by the time like summer was up, they were like, okay, summer was coming around. It's like, okay, me on bass, Jeff gonna be singing or whatever, and maybe did like a show at Cat's Cradle, like a couple weeks before school was out, and then fucking day school was out. It's like, we're going, So I was like, because I was 17, I was kind of young, and Matt was kind of younger too, so. Matt Smith, the original guitar player. So, by the way, Chris Phillips was on drums. He was kind of spearheaded that whole thing.
Yeah, he did.
So like it was fucking the whole entire summer break, touring like out to California, hooking up with No Effects in Las Vegas.
He
and
went
taking
on-
off.
Canada.
Yeah.
Canada.
Yeah,
It
well,
was, like, it was
one
cool,
thing
man.
I'll add to the Chris Phillips thing, though, love him, mean it. But he went on to play 30s music. Squirrel Nut Zippers, man, after
Oh
playing
yeah.
fucking full-on punk rock. That's crazy to me.
I knew some
It's
of
good,
those,
though.
some
It's
of those
good.
people came from like punk rock, but I didn't really know the whole history behind it at that time.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I-
So the guy that played drums
Love-
in Subculture, Chris Phillips,
You can play 30s music.
he had a lot to do
Swing.
with forming, I think, Squirrel Nut Zippers, and he now he manages them. He used to be their percussionist and toured with them for a long time and all that. But yeah, I talked to him not too long ago, man. Yeah, he's managing them and like some other bands, like at some place out in California. They kind of do a lot of those like I don't know, like blues traveler type bands. You know,
Yeah.
bands that have, you know, they can tour, they can make money, they can put out records and sell, but they're not like super famous, going to do huge arenas all the time. So yeah, that's kind of that thing. But
What's your final statement there, sir? You ready?
yes. And then there was light. I don't know. I don't know what to say.
And then there was.
put a lot of pressure on it.
Yeah, right.
I was wondering, what do you...
What am I gonna say?
So I have
Actually, I was gonna say, and then there was Spite, but that's a band, and I
Holy shit! I found a Spike CD today. Oh my
Spike.
lord!
Excellent.
Yes,
Oh my god, dude! I was digging through my CDs. Oh my god, dude! I was digging through my CDs in my case. I mean, it could be nothing. Spite, fucking, because I was looking for the All Thumbs Two Left Feet CD for you. It's the predecessor to this. You know what I mean? It's quirky, blah 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 blah, and this gets a little bit more serious and a little bit more punk rock.
Yeah.
You know, from All Thumbs Two Left Feet to Negulators. That's the only difference is it got more real kind of shit. You know what I mean? Like, here we go. All Thumbs Two Left Feet. I dug that, man. Fucking dug it. I still listen to it. I still listen to it to this day.
So Chris, you just hooked up with these guys for that band, right? Or have you known these guys for quite a while?
Well, it goes back to like after
Reverse a lot.
Well, after Subculture broke up, and blah blah blah, I kind of was in the like wasteland of not really jamming with any good whatever. Not, you know, just
You played in
kind
the country band, yeah.
Well, that was later. I didn't play live.
That's all right. I had to say
Hey,
that.
I've thought about doing it, so
playing the cool.
Well, it was.
it
just-
depends on what kind
it
of
was not
country it
me.
is.
True.
Well, they were trying to
Very
do some
true.
really bluegrassy stuff, and it really wasn't me, dude.
That'd be
It was,
weird.
and it was like not cool.
that's me 10 years down the road. I'm going to get a stand-up bass. I'm going to have a money maker. I'm going to play weekend gigs and make
Right,
money
yeah.
on the side doing that.
So, but anyway, like we formed this band Kudzu Ganja. It started as like
Love that band.
a total joke band, making tapes or whatever. You know, with some of the guys that are in currently Room or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, boom, you came up. I was
Yeah.
thinking, what is it?
Vortex of
Yeah, I
and
like
like
I've got that CD
Yeah,
too.
I love them.
like and they had another band back then, and their band
They could
broke
be
up,
nothing.
and so no, this is well before that.
Oh wow.
So we ended up like having a show booked, and a bunch of people had quit different bands, and so we just kind of threw a bunch of people together under this like project that had already been kind of just a joke project on tape, and just took it to the stage in Greensboro, and then that was what became Kudzu Ganja. And then some of those people quit, and it ended up going on for a good bit. But with Kudzu Ganja, we had been playing with some bands around town, and some guys from this band called Candy Pig. They used to be around back in the day.
Remember them?
Yeah,
Yes.
they were running Rehearse a Lot. I don't know if you remember that place, but it was that rehearsal facility on North Tryon or whatever.
I've heard of it.
It was pretty cool, dude. We got like shit, man. It was like 7,800 square feet
Yeah.
for like
Room upon room.
about $1 a square foot. Like
Yep,
$780 a month.
Yeah.
Killer, dude. It
No
was
kidding.
a bunch of bands practicing in there and all that kind of stuff. We started practicing there because it's like, fuck, we're moving out of this stupid goddamn, mini storage shit, and it's about the same price and just cooler, I mean, AC, heat, all that kind of stuff, and
It's weird.
and the guys that ran it, a couple of the guys from Candy Pig, Scott and Brooks, they got out of it. They just wanted to get out, and it was like, brr, 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 sign the lease. And it was like, okay, so I signed the lease for that place, and we started running it just so our band could have somewhere to practice for free, you know.
Yeah.
And then he came in there with some other bands that he started out with, some other people. That's where I first met Chris. Was around 94.
I was 94. Fuck right.
Yeah,
dude.
You're 94.
Yeah, it was 94.
Yeah,
Spite
look
everybody.
Fuck off.
That was about the
94.
time that we were sort of getting started up the scene. And when you guys were playing in Kudzu Ganja, that's when I first met you guys. And we'll talk about that in a little bit.
No, yeah, dude, fuck. That was the thing. It's like coming into rehearsal a lot.
Well, that
Like,
was a
the
joke
first
band.
band.
Though. It was a joke.
No, but it was.
And then
But
we-
we're a joke band, but we're having fun.
Tighten it up.
And then it's serious.
It's funny. The first people we jammed with though quit. It was like one of the first songs he played live. He was talking about Greensboro. Was Black Dog, but the drums are the vocals.
Oh yeah, we did do that. Yeah, we did do that. Yeah, yeah. It was weird, but nobody booed us,
Yeah, no.
so that kind of worked out pretty good.
I don't think I've ever been booed. It just you get that, you shut up. Okay, now I've been booed. Officially booed. There we go. I've been officially booed.
Shouldn't have said that.
It's either clap or crickets.
Oob.
Never heard a boo until just now. There you go. Thank you. Bo Brown is a dick.
So
There
the
he
band that you were playing in at the time,
It was Gentleman Death.
Gentleman Death.
Yeah, no. So they were they had a rehearsal lot going, and I had tried out. This is the first band I ever tried out for was Gentleman Death. Didn't have a name at the time. And I went into rehearsal lot, and you walk in the door, and then you hear all these bands playing.
Yeah.
And you're coming in here for the first fucking time to ever play with a band, and you're going, God damn,
It was
listen to
cool
these
stuff.
people play. You're going, oh shit. You started getting that fucking clench of the butt, and you're going, I don't know if I can do this. You
Yeah.
go into the room, you're like, fuck it, it is what it is. You get in there, they say, all right, we're going to play this riff. You play the riff, and we did. And it turned into Gentleman Death, which is the first band I was ever in.
Yeah.
At rehearsal lot in 1994.
So what kind of music was Gentleman Death? Was it?
Dark, not a little sludgy, but a clean sludge
Yeah.
kind of shit. Gentleman Death was based off of a vampire. It was this vampire thing that these guys had going on. You know, Gentleman Death was off of some guy's book. I don't remember the book though.
Yeah.
But get in there, man. It's like it's just jumping the fuck into it. You know, jumping the fuck into it with the people that I heard in rehearsal. Like, God damn.
Did you come to rip me down? Will I see you again tomorrow? Will nothing ever change? Will you tell me who I am? Will you speak my name?
Good. That's my first experience with playing in a band, and that was 24.
Yeah.
These guys were playing since they were fucking 17, so I got a little bit less. I'm a little bit behind the 8 ball, or but that'd be.
I wouldn't consider it playing.
Wait.
It's okay, man. You're old enough. You've got
Okay, and
plenty
you're
of
the
time.
8 ball now.
But
Linda.
good now.
20.
But no, you're moving through.
Maybe.
You progress. You progress
Yeah,
from
we
the first
started,
band
yeah,
to the bands that go after that.
Yeah, but what
But
are
that was
you
my first
saying?
band.
What are you saying? Are you saying that you were what age right then? You
24,
just
dude. I was
started-
24.
you
I had just started
right-
playing in bands. No, I had been playing
24.
guitar.
Yeah.
I'd been
Okay.
playing guitar for a little while, but
didn't know
that was
that.
the first fucking band I was ever in. Was when I met you guys.
Wow, you
Period.
took on the role of singing and everything.
Well,
right?
that's the thing. That's the thing because we didn't have a singer at the first. It was an instrumental. And that's when we played the
That's
Aardvark.
why I did it.
Yeah.
That's when we played the Aardvark, and they're going, "You're going to headline because you're the local band." We're going, "God damn, this is our first show, dude. I don't think we're going to bring anybody in." And nobody showed up. They got pissed off and went like, "I told you nobody's going to show up." But we didn't have a singer at the time.
Was it
No, it was instrumental. It's totally.
Oh, okay. You didn't even give it
Yeah.
a shot.
Was it that-
right then.
No, I did after the fact.
Okay.
Oh, Chris
Well, that's
Chris
what I was
Cotter.
saying. That first show, though. Yeah.
It was after Chris Cotter took off that I
You
started
have to
singing.
do that. You
I
have
did.
to.
No, I did. After Chris Cotter took off.
You have to goddamn-
Chris Cotter was okay. So Chris Cotter was the guitarist that took over between me leaving and then coming back.
No, we're gonna do this right now. You ready?
Right.
There are stars in the southern sky. Yeah, that's good. Man.
Fucking sorry. There you go.
I made everything peak. It was like
Oh shit. Sorry.
Right on then.
I'm,
do a
just,
filter.
I'm keeping it on the levels it needs to be for just a conversation. So we're good. We're good.
Okay. It is
Much
what it is.
love.
Hey, this podcast can go into the red every now and then. I don't care.
Right, it has to. But anyway, so no, yeah. My first band I ever played in was Gentleman Death, and it was meeting these guys.
Yeah.
At Rehearsal Lot, which is a phenomenal place. I remember that place as being a home away from home.
Yeah.
Get fucked up and pass out.
We were always lucky in that we had a place to rehearse or practice without having to go and get the storage room or go
Right,
and get
exactly.
a rehearsal
Really?
room or share a space. When we first started playing, our guitarist, they had a trailer on their property, and we just practiced in it. Didn't have any electricity. We ran a drop cord out there.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
And then ever since then, just whoever the drummer was, just always happened to have a place to play, or we had a friend that had a place to play. And
Man.
I know
we got
winging
lucky
it
in
like
that
too,
respect, but
yeah.
in a way, I feel like we kind of missed out on certain things by not being in a rehearsal space with a lot of other
Right.
musicians. And,
Right.
The shed for me.
experience.
I mean, there's something to be said for it,
Practicing
but,
the
you know, like, running Rehearsal Lot sucked, man.
Sucked. Yeah, I
Yeah.
bet it did.
Running
Yeah.
the line.
I can imagine that probably
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
It's just because, you know, there's a lot of people you hang out and party with, and they owe you money.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm really
I
high right
hate
now,
to
and I'm
ask for this, but
kind of
I
behind
need
on
the
rent. What do I do?
The storage,
You know, and it's just,
storage shed
Yeah,
kind of
that
thing,
shit
though.
sucks.
Last time,
Arnold Palmer.
there was like 4 or 5 other bands, like
Yeah, yeah,
Rehearsal
Arnold
Lot.
Palmer.
It was kind of like Rehearsal Lot when I was practicing it.
Arnold Palmer did that. There was
Yeah, there was
several
like 4 or 5
bands.
other
It's right down
bands
the
that
street.
practicing at the same time
Yeah.
all the time. You go watch
it was-
them and go, "Woo, yeah, wait a minute."
It was kind of like
It's
a
about
rehearsal
7 bands.
True.
Yeah,
in there.
yeah.
7 bands, and you could live there too. I mean, I don't know if we were supposed to, but
Jay-
we did.
Turned
Yeah.
into that kind of
You know,
too.
because there was like
Oh,
shower
rehearsal lot.
and
yeah, definitely.
multiple bathrooms, a kitchenette,
did too, actually.
like real refrigerator and all that kind of stuff. We didn't. I think there was even an oven.
Yeah.
Yes, there was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, it was. It was pretty much the full-on kitchen, man. So it was cool. But very smoky, and there was a lot of acid in that place. Oh my God, it was so much acid. Oh.
What, Rehearsal Lot?
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, I mean, there was weed.
Yeah, no, I know that.
Don't deny its divinity, dude. Shit.
I mean,
I was
there
part
was
of that.
plenty of weed, but oh my God, there was
Lord.
too much acid. Ugh. So like timeline was, you know, like after Kudzu, I really wasn't in any too much of whatever. Me and him jammed some here and there, but he'd be moving away and all that kind of stuff back towards Virginia. He's got this thing for Virginia for some reason. And,
Well,
For
twice.
lovers, yeah.
Only
yeah,
twice. It is for
he's
lovers
up
and
there
only
looking
twice.
for lovers, and so yeah,
it
he
was only
goes
twice.
that way. And
No mas. Por favor.
we were like had recorded some songs, you know, together, and I recorded some of myself.
In the laundry room episodes.
Yeah,
or
in my
whatever.
laundry room. Actually,
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
have, I wasn't gonna
EP,
I wasn't gonna
laundry
spend
room
money I
EP,
didn't
That's
have
actually, I remember
on a
that.
damn
Yeah.
storage room for me.
Yeah.
Right.
So I just recorded in the laundry room.
The man cave was the laundry room.
Yeah,
and it was always, you know,
Totally.
like the kids were little, blah blah. But
No
Get
more
loud in here.
Yeah,
How about
yeah.
that? And do the laundry at the same time.
like around that time, like
No, it
Brett,
was cool. It was cool.
I don't know. You know Brett Butler, right?
Yeah.
Flight Risk, and he was working with Bryant Thompson that lives across the street from me.
He played in Kudzu Ganja.
Kudzu
too.
Ganja.
Yes,
Yes,
yes, he was
drummer
drummer
for
for
Kudzu
Kudzu.
Ganja.
Yes, for sure enough, and
For enough?
fair enough, man. And I was just talking to him one day. I was like, "Dude, you want to play drums or whatever?" Because he had been, you know, he's like as a kid had been always playing drums or whatever, but he never really played with too many bands so
Yeah.
much. I mean, a few here and there or whatever. It's like, "Hey, man, you come play drums?" And
He's a really good drummer, too. He's an excellent drummer.
he's
is.
been playing since he was little, man.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
for
He's been,
sure.
I mean, he's
So
been
he-
watching like bands.
and yeah,
like
he's
Byron from Spike, dude.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
that was
grew
one
up
of his
around
idols. Was Byron from
His mom
Spike?
dated
Yeah.
Byron for a long
Byron,
time.
Byron was great.
Yes.
And
So that's another.
solid drummer, dude.
yeah,
Fucking
so
solid.
like, I mean, we started doing All Thumbs and Two Left Feet. We did that for about, I'd say, 5 years.
7.
No,
No, 5.
5-ish, yeah. So, which is about the lifetime for a lot of bands, by the way,
Mhm.
in my theory.
Yeah.
And then we kind of parted ways because he was really getting heavy into going into
Flight Risk.
No, before Flight Risk.
Fire Marshal Bill.
Yeah,
he went to Fire
Marshal
Marshal Bill. After us, he went to Fire Marshal Bill.
Right, right.
Well, it was
Well,
actually kind of a split
it was
thing.
at the same time
Right,
or
right.
whatever, but was like, okay, well, you know. So, so we just kind of, you know, started just fucking trying to do shit, mostly recording or whatever, trying to write, jam with different people, and then we ended up
Steven Stoner.
Yeah, we ran into Steven Stoner at a show. I didn't really know him. I thought he
It was
was
a Halloween at.
I thought he was somebody. I thought he was Neil Harper actually. Because he had all this makeup on his face, and he started talking about like I can play drums. Like cool. Switch it for him for a bit, and we were gonna play a show with him, but me and him kind of fell out. It's kind of a long story, but we just didn't do it. And then so Brett came in and played drums with Jeff on guitar for the first show we ever played as. At that time, it was at Tommy's, and it was actually as All Thumbs Two Left Feet.
Right.
And so we did a couple of shows with Brett and Jeff, like in that situation, and then Brett just kind of, got busy with other things, I guess I would say. So we just started recording shit that we had, re-recording stuff as a three-piece, and
Trying to bring a drummer in, trying to
find drummers, man. We did that shit for fucking like a fucking year and a half. It seemed like it was a long time,
Forever.
Ever. Yeah, and like
Nobody wanted to play fast shit.
No.
Well, yeah, exactly.
That's basically it.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it's not like we tried out a million drummers, but me personally, I haven't really been in like hanging out in a music scene for a long time before we just started even playing this year because like I'm a bit of a homebody, and
we practice once a week.
Home with the kids and work, all that bullshit, and so we just really could not find any. I mean, we jammed with some nice people and it was fun, but it
got to the point where it had to be. It got to the point where we had two drummers in the band already at that point.
Yeah.
God damn, you got Jeff. Bo can play drums. It's like screw it, we're going to do it ourselves.
Yeah,
man. That's where
it works. I like what you guys are doing and the way you switch it up and change instruments.
Right. I mean, but we love all the instruments. I'm actually hoping because we did jam like a couple of weeks ago, and I got stupid drunk enough to get behind the drums, and then I started playing drums. And I kept a beat. I was going, I want to play. I want to play drums.
Bo, you said after Kudzu Ganja, you were kind of not really in playing music that much. But Jeff, I think you played in semi-pro for a little while.
Yeah.
Did you play in any other bands in those years? Or
yeah, you did.
Yeah, we had many formulations of bands. They're all like pretty fucking fast, rock and roll kind of things. But I don't know. It got to be a lull. I'll say that. It got to be a lull. It's like, hey, I don't know. When I saw what Bo and Chris were doing with Steven Stoner, I got to throw his name out there too. I saw him practicing with him the new songs they had after All Thumbs to Two Left Feet. I said, hey, I got to play second guitar on that, man.
Yeah.
So there you go. No, we had. I won't shame any of the bands we had. We had fun, but I think this is like because we switch up, it makes it way more fucking crazy.
And I dig the style of music that you guys play. It's like a early '90s kind of Southern California style punk rock that you guys play.
I like the songwriting they were doing
funny.
too.
That's funny that you say that. Now,
shit.
That description. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Angry Samoans type shit.
Really, for me, a lot of like punk rock that I was into and like playing when I was a teenager. And that really was where I was going for most things that I write for this band. We all write, by the way, but if I got a part in it, I want it to fucking sound like
you
that.
come with a song,
except for one difference is that like I don't really care for the screaming as much.
Yeah.
So we try to sing. We scream a little bit.
No, well, you know what? I'll say this. You know what? I want to play with Van Huskins.
Yeah.
You guys are one of the best bands too. Period. The thing is, what I guess I'm trying to say is, I'm pretty drunk. Is I want all good bands to play together. And you know what? That's what I've got. It's like anybody. like I don't want to play with that band because they're better than me.
No, that's
you
the
know?
thing. It's like a
it's
lot
like,
of people
no,
would
man,
say that shit. It's
you
like,
need to play. With
yeah, exactly.
Everybody needs to have
goes
their
around
attention.
about people saying, "Hey,
Focused
the
on the
band
music
the band that's
more
going
than the
to play
bar.
with me can't be
I was
better than me."
listen. Speaking of that, I was trying to get us hooked up with Rush, but
Yeah.
Well,
oh,
hey, here, cheers. By the way, cheers. I'm
shit,
sorry that
they
it's
have
gone.
now,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah,
Bam.
sorry,
Here's, here's,
really
let's all
bad
take a
job.
drink.
Bad
Yeah,
job.
that's too soon, man. That's way too soon.
No, it's not. No, it's good.
Hey, man, cheers.
Listen, it sucks.
No, that's what I
Love
never
that dude.
understood, though. Never understood people I've been in bands with going, we can't play with them. They're gonna outshine us. You know? It's
No,
like,
hell no.
what the fuck are you
That makes
talking
play
about?
better, I think.
I like playing with bands that are
You're
better than
gonna
me.
choose
because-
bands
or
you
bands
think
that I
are
feel like are
worse
better
than
than
you
me.
or something.
Yeah,
Dude,
Because I feel like playing with bands, the first band of the night sets the tone for the night.
that's why I like
If
opening.
if that first band is really good, everybody else is going to
Right.
step their game up. So
Right.
I don't care.
Exactly.
No, that's
You're
exactly
totally
right.
right.
That's
You're
exactly right.
And that's one thing
didn't
about
say that.
lineups as well. I don't really care where we play in the lineup. I like to play first sometimes. Sometimes I like to play last. Like,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
middle's always the
I
best
want
slot.
everybody to
Right,
sound
it
good.
is.
It's the
because
best
there's more
slot. It's
people
where
that are
everybody
there,
wants to be,
blah, blah, blah,
but-
yeah.
Sometimes it makes sense to play last, or sometimes it makes sense to play first.
First.
And I like the challenge of playing. Like we've got a show coming up with No Anger Control and Trash Room.
Yeah,
And-
right on,
Damn.
right on.
I set it up, and I want to play last. And I've had a
Really?
couple of people go, "You really want to go after No Anger Control? They're hard to follow."
Yeah,
I'm like,
get outta here.
"Well, you know, they are hard to follow,
Right
but
on.
But it
I
makes
think
you-
we're pretty good, and
Yeah,
it's
dude,
going to make
fine.
us step up our game a little
Right,
bit."
exactly.
So I enjoy that. I like the challenge of. Well, I wouldn't even call it a challenge.
I'll
I like,
How are you going to
I
get better
like-
if you don't?
I like showcasing the bands.
I'll
in this
reform the
area
cool
that I
dudes
like to
right
play
now
with.
to open for you. Fuck that. Here we
Yeah,
go.
we-
Oh, yeah, baby, here we come. Yeah. Here's Van Huskins. Yeah. And here I'm in the cool dudes. Oh, yeah.
Start
Play.
hanging out with bands that you
Same
realize
show.
are like you.
It's competition,
All
yeah.
this thing about,
I
it's
played.
not even
Man, that's,
competition.
I
Bullshit.
can't even
It's
go
not
there.
even
I've seen them. I've seen all the fucking big bands, man. I have. I've seen DRI. I've seen all that shit. Like played with them and shit. You know, it's like the whole thing was No Effects and us. We're playing with all these other motherfuckers. Are like, ooh, you know, it's like, oh shit. And we went out there. People reacted the same way. We just made us go more nuts. You know, when we played. Tell you the truth. And when we got back and fucking we're playing with local bands and all that, local friends of ours, you're talking the fucking, not Kudzu Ganja, that's where we got that energy from, was that band right there, from all the collected fucking shit we saw. It's like, don't be afraid to play in front of anybody.
Oh,
we got
it's great
some
music. Charlotte has some kick-ass
3D
bands,
camera.
dude.
Yeah.
Fucking, it's almost like the '90s. It went the '90s, the peak of fucking great music, and then it died out in the 2000s, and maybe it
I
started
would
to come
disagree
back.
with you
Maybe.
on
I don't
that.
know. I don't know. No,
Well,
for Charlotte, because it did. It died out for a little while after Rehearsal Lot and all the shit fell
I saw
apart.
music
It
in
went
general,
dead,
yeah.
dude, and went deadline.
I think that sometimes myself too, but then as I'm doing the things I'm doing with this podcast and I'm going back and discovering all these bands that I sort of missed, like, you know, there was a time when I was out of it.
Right.
Like
Well, that's true.
even when the accidents were still sort of active,
Right.
between probably like 2001, 2007, my daughter was born, and
Yep,
I
I
just
had
wasn't
kids
really,
too.
I was not just really not aware of what I was going on in the scene. I was still out at some shows. We still played. We still went to
Went to
some shows.
see shows, right?
But there were a
right.
lot of bands that were active during that time that I just wasn't really that aware of. And
Right.
so I'm realizing that even though I feel like Charlotte's had its high points, and it probably has. I mean, I even during the times that we were super active, I know there were some peaks and valleys.
Right.
Well, it's probably
But
a
I still feel
relative
like-
thing
it's
in a way.
Yeah,
you know?
a little relative, and also the fact that just because I wasn't aware of it doesn't mean it wasn't.
It wasn't happening.
Right.
Because there were some great bands that came along, even like in the years after we stopped playing. There was like a big 7-year gap where I was just not
Right,
aware
yeah,
at
yeah,
all of what was going on in Charlotte.
Right.
And that was when like 25 Minutes to Go was going, and they were fucking excellent, and I just totally missed them.
Yeah, apparently I did too. 'cause
I remember
Yeah,
that.
I
I
Yeah,
remember that.
and I think a lot of people around our age probably that was during the time when we were being parents.
Parents, right?
And it was just
Single
we missed
parent,
out on
dude.
that. And
Holy shit.
now all of us, you guys, Van Huskins, Trash Room, we're all at
that's
this
the
age where
Trinity
our
right
kids
there.
are finally getting to the age to where we can
And
play
then
again.
people.
So it's
Yeah.
Well, the kids
I'll
are
look
getting
em-
grown and they're taking their leap into tomorrow. So now it's our time to get back into it. And go.
And now I look
what
around and I
are
go,
you doing?
Yep, I look around and I see
right.
that guy's my age. That guy's my
Mm-hmm.
age. That guy's my age. That guy's a little bit older than I am. That
Right.
guy's maybe a
Little
few
bit
years younger than me.
Yeah.
Holy shit! There's some kids in this band. They're like in their 20s playing. How the fuck
Right.
did that happen? But mostly it's like I see people my age playing. And I
Yeah.
look around and I feel like I'm not only with friends, but I feel like I'm with family because
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
we've come through the same things. We've come through the scene the same way. Some people have come in from other scenes, but we've seen the same things. We've done the same things. We've had the same experiences. And,
Right.
and I look around and I see people that have experienced the same things I did, and I appreciate.
Well, just hanging out with the people that you've known for. I mean, this is why I bring it back because this is the whole reason that I'm in music right now is rehearse a lot, dude. Seriously, the only goddamn reason I'm playing in a band is because rehearse lot was there.
Yeah.
And
I still want somebody to find
I checked out.
Bigfoot.
I checked out an ad. Somebody was looking for a guitar player. I was going, okay. I've been trying. I tried out for
Decades.
some other people. I even tried out for people in fucking Dallas, and it was
Wow,
like
that'd be a drive.
yeah, that was a drive too. But it was like it was like this. What's that damn name? I can't think of the name. It was a metal band, right? I tried it.
Yeah.
Drop D kind of shit. I'm going, okay, I tried it. Didn't work out. And then fucking these guys fucking called me and said, hey, or I checked out their fucking ad in Creative Loafing. Holy shit, Creative Loafing.
Yeah.
Found a goddamn ad for a band in
There
Creative
was an
Loafing.
ad? Oh, ad
Yeah.
for the band.
Yeah,
Okay, I
ad
was
in a
gonna say.
band. Band looking
I was
for
gonna say,
a
I don't
fucking
remember
guitar player.
advertising
Going,
rehearse a lot. You didn't have
okay, I got it.
Fred, though, wasn't it?
Went out there and then you
I
walk
don't
in
know.
that fucking
Ad?
door, dude. As soon as you walk in the door, there's a band here, there's a band here, there's a band there, there's a band there, there's a band there, and they're all practicing at the same time. You're going, holy shit! You guys were in the back though. You guys were in the back, in the bathroom back.
We're going downtown and we're walking all around and we're rolling real quick and
Oh yeah.
Okay, thank you. See, these are the kind of songs that we were trying to bring to our new presence that's coming.
Here
you
we
know,
go. Oh, shit.
coming for 2020. Like we
I dropped
gotta,
the
we're gonna
sticks.
get a new set here going on. We're hoping as much as possible, and it's
Man, it's
going
fun.
okay
It's been
so
fun
far.
as fuck. Dude.
I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys do like in the future. That the CD that you've recorded so far, I love it. I like it a lot.
Dude, there's songs on
Wow,
that CD
thanks,
that,
man.
that we
Yeah,
play
man,
that
come
are
on.
the
Yeah, are
CD.
you serious?
Yeah.
I love your
Well,
CD.
I know your
Yeah.
live set, and I know some. So I have an idea of the next stuff I'm going to hear recorded, but I just
Yeah.
can't wait to hear it recorded. Being able to have it and be able to listen to it,
Mm-hmm.
it's really good.
I like to have it and listen to it.
You're punk rock just
Okay.
as much as us.
Yeah, fuck right, dude. Shit on that.
Legit punk rock.
Yeah.
That's what I call it. Yeah.
okay. So
Yes.
Okay, so we're
Mr.
going to turn the
Cole,
tables.
are you
We're
ready?
going to turn
Yeah,
the
are you
tables on
ready
me.
for
I-
some
I-
Crunch
now.
the tables there.
yes,
And then we'll
yes.
get back to you guys because
Oh, here we go.
We're
Here we
not
go,
finished.
Mike.
We got
Okay, this
plenty
is
of
a
time.
personal question. First of all, and so I'm reading a text, and I wrote these questions down because
Bo got drunk and high. That's the
what
reason he
happened.
wrote it down.
Well, I texted them to these other guys, and they were like, "What is this? What are these weird texts? And
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
What is
yeah.
this fucking idiot doing?" And
Oh.
so first question is though, it says so Mick, which is what I would pronounce that as,
nasty
wants to
question.
have us to be part of his magazine and podcast this December. He's going to send over a questionnaire for the article and that's the way you spelled it, to get together one practice in December for the podcast.
Sounds about right.
So I answered back and I was like, okay, I say only 10 true or false questions, which can only be answered yes or no.
Mm-hmm.
The interview should be printed. I thought it was going to be print in extra large type. Agree?
Well, I'm still doing something in print for you guys.
Okay. Well, if you print anything, print it really big. Will you? So, but my first question actually is, so it's Mike.
It's Mike. Yes.
Mike Phillips.
Yes.
And it's not Evod, it's Dave from Something Went
Yeah,
Wrong.
Dave.
and-
But I accidentally did that one time on Facebook. Just when I was changing my name, I was going to change it from Michael to Mike, and I accidentally put Mick, and then I was stuck with it for 2 months. Well, I changed mine back to Mike, and then I changed it back to Michael at one point. But then I started working for a school system. I was working for a school. I was a teacher's assistant. And I figured it was good to keep myself at least sort of incognito online.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I took the E back off of it.
You can cut this out, but you know Jay Bynum, right?
Yeah.
Jay Bynum is now
He gets
6.
I know the name, yeah.
I've
He
known
gets so
Jay.
mad about that.
The bass player for Spite.
Okay,
Original
yeah,
bass
yeah,
player
yeah.
for Spite. That's the guy I went and played in a band called Wilt. And then Illium, which
I
is
remember
that's
Wilt.
Illium. Right. You remember Wilt?
I remember that name.
Oh yeah, okay, good. You never saw him. That's okay.
I may have. I don't know. I
We
just
played
I
at
remember
Milestone.
the
We played at
name.
Milestone. We never played at Fat City though.
Yeah.
No, we did actually play at Fat City. Anyway, no. So Jay was in Spite, left Spite, came to Wilt, and then Wilt. That was rehearsal lot. So rehearsal lot fucking fell apart. So after that, I took a break, blah, 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 and then Jay got in touch with me and said, "Hey, I got this guitar player named Chris Autry." And I forgot the name of the band he was in, but anyway, he's one of these slurgy, dirgy fucking guitar players. It's almost like it is definitely fucking Melvin-ish kind of shit, right?
Okay, you're really fucking up my questionnaire.
Oh, duh, fuck your questionnaire. Now listen.
Okay, go ahead.
Seriously, this is okay. So anyway, so he calls me up and he goes, "Man, we're looking for a temporary bass player. I know you play bass, blah blah blah. Come in and play some bass, and then we'll find another bass
I'm a
player
cough,
later
too.
on."
It's coughing time on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yes, it's time to clear them lungs out. Yeah. Okay,
Can I finish?
I'm gonna call my
finish.
wife.
Say, call your wife. Anyway, so they call me up and he's like, "Look, I'm just looking for somebody to fill in until we can find a bass player." I'm like, I didn't play bass. I never played bass. Well, I did, but I didn't play bass at the time. I was like, "No, I'm a guitar player." Boop, boop, boop. Anyway, he calls me up and okay, fine. Go over there, hang out, and it's Ben Jones. You remember Ben Jones?
I don't remember the name.
Dead Kings.
Okay.
Dead Kings. He was I think he was the first drummer.
They were one of those bands that I kind of missed somehow.
Right, Dead Kings. So that was the drummer. Chris was the guitar player. Jay was the singer, and I was the bass player in Illium. First grouping of that. Then there was a falling out with fucking Ben Jones, and then Sean Party Time Miller came in to play drums. That's where the recording comes from. The Sean Miller playing drums. Shit was badass, dude.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress. It's like, I was supposed to play temporary bass, and then I went in there and I jammed with them, and they were like, no, you got to play bass.
Yeah.
And it was drop A. It's like, you got D drop, B drop.
It's fun. All you gotta do is hit all the strings, and nobody will know.
And nobody will know. Nobody knows what you're hitting at that point on the bass. You just go, you can hit any note you want to.
Worry
But
about
it was
me.
so
Do it.
thick.
Fuck
It
it.
was so thick and deep. It was incredible. I was just
Wait,
I can deal with that.
Make sure the
Let
floor
those
rumbles.
springs on the door stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Let's put a microphone
But
on.
yeah, if you hit the right note, you
Okay. So here we are. All right. So, as stated before, it's true false questions, or the answer. It's true false question, but it can only be answered yes or no. Okay. I'm gonna go easy on you on the first one. So, and it's kind of stupid, but it's whatever. It's the first thing I thought of. So, my first true or false question: you have a preference of cat litter? True or false?
True.
It's good enough.
It's
All
cheap
right,
stuff,
excellent.
and
That's
it
pretty good.
works.
I like this. Go ahead.
Okay. Second question: you have seen a dog eat a cat turd?
True.
Yeah, I've seen that too. Shit.
Okay.
I've seen a dog eat a dog turd.
Yeah.
Third question: smoking cigarettes makes you smarter in a superhuman way.
False.
That's actually true. Sorry. Well, we'll have to give that one to you.
Wait.
Yeah,
Was that
that's
yes or no?
I
Wait.
quit smoking 10
I thought
years
you-
ago.
Oh,
I'm
it's
gonna
yes
say
or
false.
no.
I'm
All
gonna
these are
say
yes or no
false.
You're supposed to be saying yes or no.
Oh, I'm supposed to say yes or no?
It's supposed to be yes or
Then
no.
no.
Then,
You said true or false?
then I'm sorry.
Okay, fourth question.
Then it was true.
Fourth question. We're getting paid for this interview and expired lottery tickets and gum.
No.
No.
Okay. Right.
Oh.
I had to think about that one for a second.
Wait for it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm skipping 5 and 6 because they kind of suck. All right, now question number 7. So, Bigfoot wears Nike, Vans, Converse, Adidas, Birkenstocks. True or false?
False.
No, Vans. Come on, man. Seriously.
Oh,
Yes or
sorry.
no?
No.
Yes, he does. Vans. He wears Vans. Come on now.
Does he wear Vans?
Yes.
Do they
Did
make-
you not know that?
Do they make shoes big enough for Bigfoot?
Dude, they
Man,
make them
that's
up big enough
really
for
good to
Shaquille.
know.
So
I would-
yeah,
I
fucking probably
wanna know.
Fuck.
Chris, you can Google that on
You
your
guys
phone.
like a
I bet.
24. Yeah, I can do that. I can do that.
Okay.
I did see a size 66 van. Size 66
Holy
van.
shit.
I think it was a
Man.
promo
Man.
thing that they sent out, but I saw
Yeah,
it.
it's like,
It's like this big.
Holy shit. Bigfoot could easily wear that.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah,
So
he's good.
it
So
must
yeah, he
be-
probably does wear Vans.
Then
It's true.
yes.
True. I mean, yes.
Yes.
I mean, yes.
Okay. Yes, true. What was the Vans? All right, cool.
Yeah, gotcha.
All right, so number 8, the designer of pleated pants and turtleneck sweaters is one and the same. True or false?
Yes.
I agree with you.
I would
It's
not-
probably not true.
I would not
or
disagree
false.
with
It's
that.
probably
You're
it's
right.
probably a no.
Probably a no, but yes.
But
it
it
might as
probably
well
is
be.
the same guy.
They were
They're
You have
aliens.
to have facts to back this up.
They were
you
just-
know?
Yeah, well, you're saying conjecture at this point.
either way. It's just kindred mean spirits. Anyway, number 9, motor oil and full rays will guarantee a motherfucker of a tan. True or false?
True.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
That is
Yes.
true. That
Okay.
is true.
I agree with that. I totally agree
Yes.
with
Oh, yes.
Heard that shit.
that. I think I'm gonna skip number 10. Number 11, truck nuts are edible.
No.
What
Okay.
is that?
Actually, true.
So when was the last time you had truck nuts in your mouth?
There you go. I shouldn't have said what I said. Now I stuck my own truck nuts in my mouth. Sorry about that.
What does that even mean? Yeah, okay.
Truck nuts?
Truck nuts. Have you seen
Truck
those
nuts? You ever
before?
seen
What
truck
the hell
nuts?
was that? Yeah, I
You
don't
never
know.
seen a truck nut?
People, they'll hang these fucking like
Off
big
the fucking-
bowl-looking
yeah.
ball
Oh,
things off
no.
the
Yeah, those are truck
Really?
nuts,
off
dude.
the
Come on.
toe
Now.
package on their truck, and it'd be like a couple of
It looks like a pair of nuts,
balls
dude.
hanging.
Damn, I'm surprised
Sorry,
I
you might
hadn't seen
wanna
it.
They're
go
called
to
truck
that.
nuts. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
It's a real thing.
You might know this is for the
I have
X-rated
not.
version.
though. I have not
You
seen
need to
that.
move to
Truck
Dallas,
nut.
and you'll know.
You'll see truck nuts.
Oh,
Rebel
Yeah,
flag
I
with a truck
haven't
nut.
yet.
Dallas,
I'm
North
surprised.
I bet you every rebel flag we saw that day had a truck nut on it.
Really?
Yes.
It's possible.
Sorry.
They
you
were, I
can-
think they were a little more popular
That's
a few years
fucked
ago,
up.
but you still see them.
Yeah, no, that's the
you're
same
right.
thing,
I
though.
haven't seen them in a while, but
Truck nuts, man.
I haven't
Truck
forgotten.
nuts.
Woo! Yeah, I don't know.
The image was burned in my brain.
Yeah.
Damn, that,
Holy shit.
that truck's got balls.
Yeah, it
baby,
does.
stay away
No,
from
I
me.
seen a car. I saw a Hyundai
Goddamn.
had those things going. Wee, 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 wee.
Okay. I don't-
Anyway.
Go for it. Anyway,
You call them car nuts at
question.
that point?
Yeah.
Continue.
Car nuts. Yeah, yeah.
All right, so
Car.
number 12. Yeah, okay, we are. Number 12. Misuse of hot water can give you the boils.
Yes.
Sure. Sure. Say sure. Okay. Well, okay, I don't know.
Okay, number 13. You can access Google with a seashell if you hold your tongue right while facing magnetic north.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Probably right about that.
Yeah, no.
Okay, here's a tough one, man. This is going to be tough for everybody out there. Number 14. Your president loves you no matter what.
No. No.
Bing.
Really? Is that
We
all?
don't really like
Is
to,
that all?
we don't really like to
Yeah.
talk politics
No.
on this podcast.
You
but
can cut
no,
it out.
no.
Don't worry about it. Don't
No,
worry.
we
Cut
can,
it out.
yeah.
You can cut it out, but you know what?
There's room there, no matter
Yeah,
what.
yeah.
I mean,
I think our president loves himself. That's what I think.
There you go. He's
Okay.
not fired yet.
I think
Yeah, I
I'm
can't
almost
tolerate
done
that.
here. Almost done
One
here.
more, dude. One more. Come on now.
Wait. I think there
Can't
might be
tolerate
two
that.
more.
I did break
Number
that.
15. You can talk down to someone while being shorter than them.
Yes.
Yes.
That
Okay.
is true. That is goddamn true. I like that.
See, that makes more sense.
I've had it happen to me.
Yeah, yeah.
That makes more sense. Me too.
You look down feeling, oh, I feel bad.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So
Yep,
this is
that's
number
it.
18.
Right
This is
on. That's
totally
the last.
specific to Chris. I think I actually have one more. But number
Fuck
18. Jeep life is for yuppies in denial.
Oh,
that's pretty bad.
bitch.
Yeah, really? I don't agree with
Yeah,
that
that's fine. Yeah,
And
of course not, dude.
He says
Shit.
that statement is totally false.
That's
no.
irrelevant. Oh no, irreputed. Ill-reputed. Oh, you remember ill-reputed?
Ooh, that's a
oh,
good
yeah.
band.
Oh yeah, ill-reputed.
So thinking way back when, so what was the first thing that made you want to be in a band? If you can, like, was it a
Hard Day's Night. Without missing a beat. Hard
there you
Day's
go.
Night.
Yeah.
Yep. When I was a kid, we said earlier, I was met Jeff when I was really little. I was like 7 or whatever.
The end of it. Yeah.
Oh shit, dude.
And he was like, I don't know, you were like 18 or something, right? I'm kidding. You're not that much
You
older
fuck. Get out of here. You're stupid. You're stupid,
No,
man.
but,
Right on, no. Okay.
I was really young, and I like
Right on.
music, and I like the idea of playing music, but never actually considered, didn't. Well, my grandpa bought me a guitar when I was fucking little, and I couldn't play it. It's like, here's a guitar, kid, and you're left-handed, by the way, and it's a right-handed guitar. Go for it.
Dude, yeah, we're both
so I
left-handed.
couldn't. Yeah, he's left-handed too.
Yeah,
so
we're
me and
both
Chris have to
left-handed.
Oh,
fucking.
fucking shit.
Reverse our shit.
Yeah, we have to play right-handed guitars and right-handed.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you don't exactly
That's
play
fucked up. I
drums
didn't
right
know
now,
that.
but
It's
when-
right-handed
Yeah,
life
we're both
for
left-handed.
us.
You're
It's
lucky
a
you play
right-hand
drums
life
then, yeah.
for
It
us.
makes it harder on rolls.
Yeah,
Actually,
it does.
for me.
It-
It makes
I
it
barely
harder.
hold the fucking
does.
stick.
So, yeah. So, like, the first person that ever showed me anything on fucking guitar was this guy, and he's like, "Check this out, man.
Damn, don't
Check this out. Dun 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 dun.
That's one of the first things everybody learns.
Yeah.
That's one of the first things I learned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, "Satisfaction by the Stones, man. Check it out." I'm like, "Fuck yeah."
Goddamn right. Yeah.
And then like the idea, and like me and him would like when we were like little, we were fucking kids, dude, and like we would like
It's my first album.
he had a
Not
closet
that
that had a light in it. He'd turn the lights out in his room. We'd fucking spin the Beatles, and he'd be like, we're gonna be like the Beatles on the rooftop concert, and it's gonna be like they're up there at night, on top of the fucking skyscraper is what I used to think, right?
Yeah.
Like they were on this skyscraper playing over London. I didn't realize that Abbey Road wasn't that tall.
Yeah.
Well, I saw the video later, but it's like, okay, cool. And I would imagine that it's like, man, this sounds like fucking cool shit. This sounds like something to be fun to do. But I moved to Florida after that, and I really didn't jam with anybody.
he was in Mount Holly at the time, when all
Yeah.
that was happening. Mount Holly.
But I didn't really jam with anybody until I came back up here. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, cool.
Well, what I was going to say about that was like Circle Jerks. Keith
Morrison.
Morrison is from,
Yeah.
or Morris is from there.
My bad.
He's from there. We had some punk rock people
that's
come out
true.
of fucking goddamn
Yep.
He's
Mount
got
Holly.
family in Mount Holly.
Yeah.
Keith Morris from Circle Jerks.
Oh, really?
Yes, he does. He does. Sure enough.
He said that in some interview. I was going, what the fuck? Okay, that's where he grew up before
Well,
he
you
went
mentioned-
to California and said, fuck this fucking shit, And
You mentioned Buzz Oven before, and like when they had their first bass player, I think his name was Brian or something. But
yeah.
I was talking to him one day, like we were getting all stoned and shit and eating fucking spinach sandwiches, and because we were really stoned on health nut bread.
Health
Anyway,
bread.
yeah, this stuff's kind of weird.
Hearty.
It's very crunchy.
Very hardy.
Sounds like it.
Like he was telling me about like he was like walking down fucking Central Avenue. This is like back in the 90s and all or whatever. Because he worked at the subway up there at fucking Plaza off Central.
Right on.
And
Yeah, I remember
I
that
do
place.
remember.
I think,
Lawrence used to run it.
Lawrence used to run it, yeah.
yeah.
from
Lawrence.
Milestone.
Fuck yeah.
I used to go in there all the time whenever I go to Milestone Records, and he
And he would hire
musicians.
musicians all the time. Yeah. Anyway, so he's like walking around and he runs into fucking Keith Morris from Circle Jerks, and they start talking. It's like, oh, we got this house right down the street, blah blah blah, where we practice and whatever, our band house. And he's like, oh, cool, I'll come over check it out. And then he came and checked it out, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna play tonight or whatever, blah blah blah. And so he's like, sure, I'll ride with you guys. So he like rode with them show out of town, just out of nowhere,
Yeah.
And came back and went back to fucking Mount Holly or whatever. He was checking in with, I'm not sure exactly what family connection he has, but he's definitely got people this way. I don't know if he's totally from this area or whatever, but there's a connection. Kind of like a Jonas Brothers thing,
We're
man.
all from
Yeah.
this area.
Right. I was going to say the guy from Limp Bizkit, too, Fred
Oh,
Durst,
Durst.
or whatever. He went to Gastonia or something.
Yeah, I've got some friends
Durst
that were friends with him. Used to skate with him back in the day.
Yeah, I met him like when I fucking moved back up here because like
That comes to mind, too, yeah.
he was another kid from Florida. Like when I moved up here and he skated, and so we used to hang out here and there or whatever. I mean, I don't know, I haven't seen him in fucking forever. Last time I saw him was that Rolling Thunder skate park. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Do you?
Really? Do you? Yes, right on.
Yeah, he was kind of in on that or whatever. Like before he moved back to Florida and started Limp Bizkit, man.
Yeah.
Last time I saw that guy. I assume he started Limp.
What?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Bigfoot, where?
Bigfoot. He wears goddamn Vans, right? Size 66.
66. You said you toured with NoFX. I'm sure you've got. I mean, you could probably fill up like a 10
year.
podcast with stories
Good
from
Lord.
that.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
I guess that would have to
Yeah.
sort of shape your view on music? I mean, it was before they got like as big as they are now. Obviously, I think.
Oh yeah,
That was in the mid '80s, I think.
yeah.
They were probably gaining a name for
It was
themselves.
fucked up. Yeah,
We first met them when they were a
great. It was
three-piece
great.
still,
Yeah.
or whatever. I mean,
Yeah,
they didn't have a
three-piece at
second
first.
guitar, and
What? This is
according
great.
to them, I mean, one reason that they brought in the second guitar was because of playing shows with Subculture in '86.
I don't.
I thought you knew what was happening to you, but I could see. Won't let it happen to me.
My
And they didn't jump. back
My
then
thing,
either.
my thing about it is right now, if you want to back up like that, you know, it's like we were going. Oh, okay.
Or maybe they always wanted a second
All
guitar.
right,
I
I'll
can't
back
really
up
say.
all the way.
Yeah.
We went to Myrtle Beach, man, and parked on the
that's
beach.
fucked up,
And it
yeah.
was like there was no show, there was no nothing, and the drummer was
No,
like,
say it right.
"I just wanted to see if everybody would go." I was like, "Whoa!"
Exactly.
And then right after that, like 2 weeks later, we were going, and we played our shows by ourselves with nobody there at the clubs, and barely like 5 or 10 people or something. And it's like midway, you're gonna meet this band from Los Angeles. And I was like, okay, yeah, cool, you know. And Las Vegas is where we met them the first time. And
No,
or Memphis.
Yeah, no.
It was-
Like when
it
you
was
were on
something you're
bass,
gonna meet them, and I was like, they're from LA. I was thinking they're gonna look like, you know, probably like
Long hair.
yeah,
No, 'cause
Motley Crue. you
I
know.
wasn't in the band, but I was there. It was
They
like
weren't.
it was in
They
'86.
weren't at all. They were like normal motherfuckers got out of their van, like, what's up? You know,
Yeah.
I was going, what's up, yeah, too. I rode with them, man, more than I rode with my own band. I was like so intrigued that even happened.
Yeah.
And then what's the California, you know, West Coast kind of, what do you listen to? What movies do you watch? Everything. And they were so humble and cool. And the movie was, at the time, it was Clockwork Orange, and the album was Abbey Road by the Beatles.
Yeah.
You know, they were listening to. And man, it was surreal. It was surreal. It was like, okay, you're no different than we are. And they were like, whew, yeah, we don't know what we're doing either.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't know, and they didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we went on a journey after that. And the second time around, man, we toured with them twice, man. It was like, well, we know a little bit what we're in for, but we were more in charge and not going in blind. We were a little bit more in charge of hanging out, going, we're like a team now. You know, this is like a group effort right
Yeah.
here instead of. It was weird, you know. People would question us just as much as they did them everywhere we went. You know, from being from North Carolina and then from being from L.A. They caught more shit from being from L.A. We
bet
were
so,
like,
yeah.
they're like, lie about it. We're telling them to lie about it. Say you're from somewhere, you know.
So-
I don't know. You know,
I'll tell you a
the
funny
smallest
side
town
story.
ever.
Like
But
we saw
it
those
was
guys.
fun.
We saw those guys in 2008, and we were talking to like I had never met him before. I guess he's still their tour manager. That guy Kent. If you've ever watched any of the backstage
Kent,
pass
yeah.
stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
Like Mike's like, oh, blah blah blah, you know, meet Kent, and we were like, you know, like, hey man, blah blah blah, shaking hands, and he's like, oh, so you guys were about fucking back in the day, man, when it was, I bet that was fucking great, and
It was
and
pretty
I was
fun.
thinking about it,
Yeah,
it's
it
like,
was
well,
fun.
you know, it wasn't like what they have
Yeah.
now, you know what I'm saying? Because it was like
You know what you're
like
stepping into.
in '87 when I was out with that shit, on that tour, it was like no fucking food. We stayed in a hotel once
Yeah.
and spent all our money on it and lost a pedal the night
That's
before.
like all the people, man. I like meeting all the people. It
So
was
you
insane.
you know, we slept in the van a shit ton, and you're talking a Ford, a Cut-A-Line 150 with all your equipment,
Yeah.
and sometimes we would actually like also get money from people, like they would pay us to drive them to the next town, you know, and hang out. They would sort of like tour with you a little bit,
Gas money.
Yeah.
gas money or whatever.
yeah. It
But
worked out.
there was no fucking weed. Nobody had
No, that's
goddamn
not true.
weed.
Seattle-
We got some.
Seattle,
we
they
got
gave
some in
us some
Seattle,
weed.
but there was like nobody had fucking weed anywhere.
Yeah.
And most places we went, the only drugs you could get was acid and a little bit of beer. That's it. That was kind of weird, dude. I've
acid
never.
all the time.
I'll put it this way: like when we were in fucking
They
New
did
York,
it too. No,
we were in New York, and like we didn't have. I didn't have any fucking money on me. It sucked being in New York with no money.
Yeah.
Good
and-
luck with money there anyway.
And like some of the guys that
Too
you know,
expensive.
like from NoFX and Subculture went in, and they had a little bit of money. They were getting some goddamn food, and I was fucking starving, dude. So I was like, I remember it was you and Eric Sandin, and me, and I think Eric Reese. I can't remember. I don't know. But like we were all outside because everybody else had money for food. They were all like, we're getting some fucking burgers and shit. We're like, God damn, this sucks, man. And so I went in, and I fucking, like, they had the trash can was kind of like overflowing a little bit, and there was a drink in there that somebody had thrown away or whatever. So I took that motherfucker and ran in the fucking bathroom and washed it all out, and then went up to the fountain and poured my own drink, like nice big fucking Coke with like new ice in it and shit. And I walked back outside with it, and everybody's like, "What the fuck? Where'd you get that?" You know what I mean? Like, what? Give me some. It's like,
Think
oh,
on your
fuck.
feet.
I mean, we really didn't have a
no
lot.
choice.
I mean, we were eating, oodles and noodles like raw, uncooked and shit sometimes, and
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Sometimes I didn't eat for days.
put mustard
in a row.
on it. We got some mustard
You're getting
packets.
fucked up
Make
the
it
entire
taste
time.
different. I mean, that was just like no money, and
Right on,
and it made
yeah.
it worse for Subculture. Like that year is that we didn't have any merch.
Yeah.
Because I think Subculture may have owed Reed Mullins.
Yeah, from COC.
COC some money.
right on, yeah,
Because
yeah.
Reed Mullins helped them out and put out helped them with a record and like T-shirts and shit. And so I think Subculture owed them a little bit of money, and so we didn't have enough to re-up on in '87.
Yeah.
So all we were trying to do is like get money from the shows. So
It's too fun, man.
some of them would be great shows, and some of them would be like like you go to like what is it? Delaware. What's the town in Delaware? There's one town, right?
Yeah.
There's one town
I'm
in
trying to think what the
Delaware.
name of it. I can't even think what the name of it is.
Whatever that town in Delaware is, it's probably its
It didn't
capital.
matter. It really didn't matter. It's like, I would say accents changed, but people didn't. Yeah, that's the way I saw it. Everybody wanted you to damn hang out and fucking catch a buzz, eat. They fed us, man. A lot of people
Have
fed
fun.
us.
Well, we did. People
It was
did.
fucking
That was
weird, It's like,
nice.
you're just like going, I don't know, from town to town. But man, we were a team with no effects. It was weird, the weirdest thing ever, because they were just like us. Yeah, we just came straight out of Lake Wiley, and all this, doing this bullshit. It's like, man, they like the same bands. They love the Beatles. They love everything. Oh, it was like meeting a West Coast thing with them. It was strange. It was like they weren't Motley Crue.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, I don't know how to put it. It was like, oh, here they are,
what was it?
I rode with them a
Wait,
lot,
wait.
I rode with them. It's going, what are you into?
Wait a minute. So I get to ask a question, right?
You can ask a
I
question.
can ask a question. So you talk about the meeting in Las Vegas. I want to hear the meeting in Las Vegas shit.
Yeah,
Again,
that was,
no, because this is important. Because this is where you meet
we hear it all the time on your
What's his
radio,
name?
the
Stalag
iHeart
13.
Radio,
Come
or
on,
not iHeart, Pandora.
Pandora,
or whatever.
dude, yes.
The band Stalag 13.
Yeah, there you go.
I had a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, Mike Lincoln, went to college in Winthrop, South Carolina's Winthrop College. He had a roommate from San Jose, California, and he had this record collection that was ungodly, and it was all like this fucking shit he bought before he fucking moved out to the East Coast. Local records, punk rock. Yeah, Stalag 13 was one of them. I was like, that's a fucking stellar record. Whenever we met No Effects in Las Vegas, out of the van walked fucking Dave Casillas, and I
Right.
recognized his ass from the fucking back photo of that goddamn album,
Oh,
because
wow.
it's so
Yeah,
good.
the back jacket.
exactly.
And I
They
said,
had-
what's
they
up?
had
I
individual
know who you
shots,
are.
yes.
And he was like, what? And I bonded with that dude, man, immediately. I was like, this is crazy, man. This is crazy.
Dude, they took off. And you're talking about being in the desert. You're being
Yeah, we
in
walked
Las
out in the
Vegas, and
desert,
they went
yeah.
over a couple of
Yeah.
dunes. As soon as you get over a dune, you're going. There's no
He's
light.
like, how
it's
do you
like,
fuck
here
you
go.
know who I am?
Yeah, I know that.
Because
Love
you're a
that.
record man. I like it that much. I like it.
And
I know who you are.
It is good. It's a great record.
That's true.
God damn it.
That's funny.
Stalag 13.
Hey, and you got to meet a lot of people that like you had only heard of, or maybe listened to or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
they never toured
like we
either,
met
though.
we
That's
met
the whole
fucking
thing about
Bomber,
it.
when we were
Because of
out on
Todd
the West
Donner.
Coast that year, from RKL,
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
he came
RKL.
up, started talking to us. I remember one thing he said, like I know he's dead now and all, but like I mean back then in '87 he was like, man, if I could just have a fucking like a room with everything in it, I'll just record all the time. That was like his dream,
Yeah.
What, the drummer you talking about there?
Yeah, Bomber. Yeah, I remember him saying that, and like we got to go to Okie Dogs in
Yeah,
Las
that's
Vegas, not in L.A. But Okie Dogs, like, see y'all at Okie Dogs. Like, yeah.
No effects thing.
Because, by the way, that show he's talking about in Las Vegas, when we got there, it's like, club's closed.
Out in the middle of
We're going to
nowhere.
go in the desert.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's
it's
right.
Drive
Yeah,
out
they
the
played
fucking
in the middle of the
desert.
desert.
They made it happen. That was a
yeah.
weird thing.
They
You're driving down like a
gosh.
mile road, like out in the fucking bullshit. And they had a stage set up
Generators and
with
shit
two
like that.
lights
Yep.
on top of it and two generators over to the sides. Like, what? Right out in the middle of nothing.
Heck yeah.
That was fucked up, man. It was good. It worked, man. It worked. But it was like, this is fucking, what the fuck is this? That's when I was like, whew, we just came from Memphis, I think. It's when we woke up to that shit. It's like, this
Colorado.
is like the fucking
Yeah.
moon,
Right.
The desert looks like the goddamn moon.
Yeah, it's crazy
Yeah.
at night. You go over Dune and, like, you can't see Las Vegas anymore. It's like,
Right.
ooh, I can get lost out here.
Let's walk out in this. You're like, scorpions and whatever might get you and all that. It's like, well, the moon is so goddamn bright. It looked
Right.
like fucking you're on
Full
the
moon.
fucking moon with the moon shining
Shining
on
on
you.
you.
It was weird, It was strange. We just went out there with a 12-pack and got fucked up before we played. The first time we met each other. And like,
Yeah.
this is surreal.
Yeah,
This is
that's
surreal.
Yeah,
killer.
I mean, like, too, just,
This is
you know,
real.
you got to, like, back then, like I said, you would just go to towns and you would run into people that, like I said, you just fucking, like, you'd maybe seen before or you listen to the records or whatever. Like, the other thing, too, I was going to say, like, when we went to Boston that year.
Yo.
Like, first day we were there, we went to some show. I can't remember who it was. It was some other bigger band. I can't remember who it was, but, and we didn't, like, we couldn't get in.
Yeah.
So, like everybody in Subculture, everybody in NoFX, we're all just sitting on the sidewalk or standing on the sidewalk in front of the fucking show, just like hanging out or whatever. And fucking Chris Dougherty from Gang Green comes up on a skateboard. Is like, "What's going on, fellas?" Just like,
Yeah.
what are you guys doing?
Oh, no.
He's just talking to us like he knew
Yeah.
us. You know what I mean?
I'm
Like,
a fan, man.
it's like, oh my god.
I'm a fan of that motherfucker. Yeah,
Oh my God,
Gang
that's
Green.
fucking
Big
Chris
time,
Dougherty
man.
from Gang Green. Holy shit! You know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking. Like, oh my god! But you ran into that a lot back then. It was such a smaller scene that was
Yeah, we're
in a
like
way
little
without.
children all of a
It's
sudden
kind of
again.
odd
You're like,
without the internet. Like how connected it
worthy.
was
Right.
Yeah.
through just fucking mail and stolen credit card phone numbers and shit like that. I mean,
I was talking to somebody earlier before your show today, Mike, actually from Trash Room.
yeah.
And we were talking about how that first Armory show that I set up in Kings Mountain was all done by phone and letter. I mean, we sent,
Right.
I wrote to them the first thing, like, hey, we're doing the show. We want to see if you guys want to play.
Mm-hmm.
And then they wrote back, and then after that, it was by phone. But we would send out, like,
Mailers.
directions and
Kinda
stuff
mailer
to the
kinda
bands
shit.
that were coming in.
Yeah.
Like, here's directions on how to get to the place. And now it's
Right.
just like, we're playing Tommy's Pub. The show starts
Via
at 9.
Facebook.
Show up. I guess you could find out where it's at. But
Right.
back then, you had to network a little bit harder.
Yes.
It was
It's
more
true.
difficult,
And it's totally
but I
true.
think it made it a little bit more. It was more tangible back then.
I missed
Now
the
it's-
entire point of and it gets brought up when what we had to do there.
Mhm.
You're playing with the best bands in every state. We didn't know that till we were doing it.
Yeah,
It's true.
Best bands, man. Yeah, that's where I can never get anybody going, well, I don't want that band to be that good. I just want
Yeah, go
it's
for
like,
it.
shut the fuck up. I mean,
Yeah.
we had to do that. They were all like, right on. Every band, DRI, everybody was like, right on. They were great. That's
Yeah.
what I got to say about that. We had to. Seattle,
you had no
Melvin's,
choice.
everybody. It was like we were
Well, it's not
fucking
even having a
we'd play
choice.
shows
It's
with
not
these
even about having a
motherfuckers,
choice.
like,
It's like just doing your goddamn.
they were
doing
new
what
with
you
the,
do.
but some of them were not new. DRI was not new. I mean, there was
Yeah, they've been
quite
around a
a
little
few
bit.
of
Been
them.
around for a while. That's true.
Poison Idea, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
We were going, oh no, you get to go out there and play and all that. It's like we did, and everybody was still like, right on. That's where I don't get that.
Bands that you guys played with on that tour.
That's
I
what
wanna
changed
hear,
my
I want to hear the
attitude.
bands that you played
I
with.
don't
on
care
that
what
tour.
we're playing. Let's do it.
What'd you
and
play
do
play
it
with
right.
what?
No
You said
Effects.
the No Effects, Melvin's,
Right.
Poison Idea.
Yeah. Melvin,
else?
DRI. Man, there were so
DRI.
many, dude. There were so many.
Well,
Oh, there's too many. It's
you know,
too many.
like when-
Every time we went to a government issue, I mean, God
Yes.
Almighty,
Holy
it was
shit.
too many. Yeah, it was like every time we rolled in somewhere, it was like the headliner was a big one, and you had to open for him. It's like I got to see him play at the same time. It's like, fucking don't. Let's go out and play.
Well, there
Yeah.
would be a lot
You
of
can't be
hit and miss.
intimidated by it. You've got to just go out there and do what you
No,
do.
hell no. We couldn't. We had no choice.
Yeah, there was a lot of hit and miss. Like I remember in '87, like because a lot of the bigger bands, this happened to us a lot because it was No Effects and Subculture
Made us
for
better.
a lot of the towns we hit, and we would come in as the out of town act, as the headliners, which we would switch up, like from night to night.
Yeah,
you guys
yeah,
do
we
it
did
tonight.
do
You guys
that.
do
Yeah,
it
that's
next
right.
night. Blah 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 blah. But I remember like a lot of places would be like, oh, well, Henry Rollins was here like Tuesday and we're on a Thursday.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was okay. You know, like
The
turnout or
out
whatever.
west was a little rough.
You know, or it'd be like,
competition.
Connecticut. COC was here. Actually, we saw them in Connecticut, watch them play. We were passing through, but like, actually, because we never played Connecticut. It's a weird state, by the way.
Played
F-Law.
Well, I mean, their drinking laws are strange.
into something's the name of it.
Back
Connecticut.
then.
You can only drink standing
into
on your
something,
head.
Connecticut, and into something.
I don't
Cotta
remember.
DeVito.
I don't-
maybe?
in
Played
'87.
at a fucking hockey rink out there.
But no, I mean, like, it was cool. I mean, it was very cool. It just
Anyway,
sucked. It sucked that, you know, what really sucked about all that in a way, like, you know, if you have any regrets, is that, like, when Subculture got back in '87, like, everybody just went poof and just disbanded.
Yeah.
That was it.
Stupid.
It was like, really? We're done? And I had to go to, like...
School. Back to
yeah.
school.
I got back, like, at my dad's house on a Sunday, and or Saturday night or whatever, and then my stepmom, like, she, like, woke up in the morning on Sunday, and, like, everybody was sleeping in her living room, and she freaked out. She started screaming.
That's right, yeah.
Like, she was screaming, like, loud as a fucking amplified parrot, man. She was just going nuts.
Yeah.
And then everybody kind of woke up. She's like, "Oh, whoa!" It's like, "Whoa! We're back!"
Yeah.
You know. She's anyway.
Intruders.
So, like, those guys all take off to go their respective stuff, and NoFX is still heading back out to go. They had to get back to California, so
Yeah.
they were going to tour like Southern Texas, Arkansas, whatever the fuck. And yeah, so like I had that day, and then I had to go back to fucking high school the next day, and it sucked, dude.
Yeah.
I had to go back to 11th grade, and I was like,
Oh,
wow. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
oh my
right.
god.
It's not
you
real.
know, I had one day to like not party before I go back to school. It was a bummer.
Some people say it's love exists. Me, I insist. I think about you all the time. Think about you when you lose my mind. Have you ever said this word? Words I've never heard before. Have you ever said them?
So what was the North Carolina music scene back then? I know, like,
Pretty good.
just from a little bit of research I've done, Raleigh had a pretty good hardcore scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, Raleigh had a
Mid
hell of a
'80s with
scene.
COC and Subculture as a part of that, and some other bands. I still need to learn a lot about that time.
Too many. They had the biggest bands
What
roll
was
through
it?
there
How
too.
about Charlotte? Did Charlotte have a? I mean, I know
Milestone
Anti-Scene was
did.
active
Milestone.
at the time.
Well,
Yeah,
I
dude.
mean, you know,
Shit,
like
dude,
back
but-
in this area, you're talking like
Raleigh had
Anti-Scene was
better
like the
bands.
shit around
Right.
here then.
Yeah,
You know, it's kind of funny because now they're bigger in other places, and they're probably not as big in Charlotte.
True.
I'm sure they
That's
would say
very
that,
true, yeah.
but
Can't think of the name of the fucking venue now to save my life, man.
the Yellow Rose.
the brewery.
Oh, the brewery was in Raleigh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's the big
Sorry.
Descendants and all that shit.
Yep.
Woo. Well, I mean, you know, back in then, shit, man.
Verbal abuse.
If it wasn't
all
for the
kinds of
Milestone,
bands.
actually, there wouldn't be any good shows in Charlotte.
yeah.
Yeah, right on.
Milestone,
That's totally true.
hands
Black
down,
Flag and
Milestone is my favorite venue, and I hope it never goes anywhere because
Man, but
It's-
listen, remember Fat City?
yeah,
Come on, let's go Fat City at that point.
Fat City
No,
was
to
good,
me, Fat
but-
City was bigger than Milestone.
But see, Milestone was my
Not really.
introduction.
Yeah.
Milestone's the one that's been around the longest. Milestone has the most history to it. Milestone
That's
is
easy.
I know, and I agree with that.
It's the
I
best.
understand what you're saying.
It's the best sounding room I've ever been in. Honestly, I mean, it
That's true.
sounds
You know
it
what, 'cause
sounds really good.
I
there.
did. You're right, because I did just download when we played at the Milestone the last time. Just recently, I had the 360 video bullshit going on, and I downloaded it, and it did sound fucking killer. So
They
we have
just-
to use that.
I mean,
I know,
when
but-
you mic all the
Right.
instruments, when you
But
mic,
it's
when
like-
you can mic everything, it's going to sound good. And I
Right.
think just the structure of that building, it makes it sound good. I love the sound of that place.
It's the echo in that
And the
room.
history
It's the
of that
echo in the
place
room,
and
and
everything.
the history and the echo in the room. It's there. It's
but Fat
so
City,
there.
what
But
Fat City
Fat City-
was a phenomenal place. I loved it.
Man,
Me too,
It was right down the street for me.
Yeah.
It was there. It was there to enjoy, play, eat. You know, during the day you can eat. During the night you fucking watch.
Now it's just a
bands.
memory. That's
now,
so weird.
now it's a loft.
Yeah,
You got a Fat City underground kind of thing. Oh man, it sucks balls. But that area was the seediest fucking area in Charlotte at that point.
No doubt.
I remember. Yeah. Oh, remember. Oh, I don't think you were there. I was there, but
I don't
there was a
know.
night. All right, so we're
I
at
didn't
fucking
think it was
Fat City. We're at Fat City and we're hanging out. Blah 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 blah. And
I'm not trying to be hip or
what's his
anything,
name? Oh, goddamn it, what's his name?
I don't know.
Casey, that ran the place.
Casey,
Yeah,
goddamn it, Casey.
Yeah, Casey,
drunk
yeah.
as fuck, right? Sorry, Casey. You can edit this. Anyway, Casey, fucking drunk as fuck, goes out there, goes ha 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 ha, and he starts talking shit, and he goes pow 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 pow, and he fucking fires off his gun that he had in his hand. Pow 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 pow. Walks back in. A few minutes later, woo, comes through, and then Casey goes out there. I think he went that way. And I'm sitting here watching him talk to the cops, and they're just pointing that way, going, I think they went that way. And the fuck's, oh my God, that was like an incredible night, dude. It's like sitting there and watching somebody get away with, yeah. It was
Not
crazy.
murder, no, man,
not murder,
distraction.
not murder, but just sarcasm. Getting away with sarcasm. Get away with sarcasm. Fuck that shit. You got to be able to release every once in a while.
What?
Yes,
murdered who?
shush.
Yeah.
Yeah, shush.
And
You got to be able to release every once in a while.
I got shushed.
Yes, you did.
And I can leave that in because that's not the worst thing that could be said about Casey.
Yeah, I know.
And I'll leave it.
Okay.
And I'll leave it at that.
Call my name now. Shush.
But I mean, I never had anything. Any
No,
bad
there
dealings with
there
the
were
guy.
nights. There were nights when we would hang out after the bar had closed, and you go upstairs, and then
Hey,
the party's
I got a piece
upstairs.
of brick from the old building in my
we
house.
do. I got one in the room. Yeah, exactly. Oh, the penny. I don't know if you ever remember that, but
he's
like
going
in the
deep.
back
He's going
room,
deep.
you went down. There's a little brick, and then
He
we
is going
do
deep.
in every other
Chris gets in a
integral
lot of
brick. They
detail.
would put a
Cheers.
penny. They
Yeah.
actually nailed it. Not nailed,
Glued.
but glued a penny to every other brick. I've got one of those bricks still here. Dude, that was
I
the
got one in my
pinnacle
house.
moment. Yeah, he
Really?
does. Yeah, we did. We fucking.
I was saving it so I could throw it through your window.
Well-
when you were at work Monday.
Right on.
I'm not throwing mine because I like mine.
Oh, but
But now, yeah, it's
but
like
then you'll have two.
What?
well, no, it's like just going somewhere, going somewhere that people like you. Oh, what's it called? Cheers. Yeah, there you go. Cheers.
What?
I know. Anyway,
That was a
Fat
fiction-
City bullshit.
fictional TV
Yo,
show.
that's not a fictional place. Cheers is actually a real place, but
Oh,
Fat
the
City
show
was a
Cheers,
real
okay.
place. It was right down the goddamn street, dude. You go down there, you get party. After hours, they shut down the bar. They go upstairs. Yeah, there's some weird shit going on upstairs, but you have fun until the best one for me. Fucking 6 o'clock in the morning. We're walking out the door, going, everybody. Casey's going, okay, everybody has to go. Blah 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 blah. You're walking to the door, but he had fucking Goldschlager. Everybody had to stop. Casey would pour. You have a Lone Star State style fucking shot of as you walk out the door at 6 o'clock in the fucking morning after partying.
Hey, be
I get
careful
up
on
to
the way home.
Casey, yeah. He goes, woo.
Drive carefully.
I get to Casey. He looks at me. He goes, ha ha. He goes, boop. And he pours it for a 2-shot, dude. I'm going, oh my God, dude, I cannot hold this. I had to go to work the next day.
Oh, yeah.
I did have to go to work next day.
We gotta have somewhere to throw up.
No, you don't.
Sorry.
And that's when Mike Wolford. I was jamming with Mike Wolford too. No, it wasn't Mike Wolford. It was
Come on, man.
Bo.
Get your story straight.
I got it fine. Oh, it was 6. What?
Get to the point. Get to the point.
So needless to say, I had to go to work the next day, fucked up, because I stood in line to get a shot, and I got hit with twice.
6 o'clock in the morning, if I can
6
talk.
o'clock in the
And he's
morning.
complaining.
Yeah.
No, I was a little younger.
What are you complaining about? You got hooked up.
No.
Oh no, I
complaining.
was thinking about this the other day, and I was thinking about people that are career alcoholics that like get drunk and go to work, and I'm like, man, the work is the one place I would not want to be drunk. So I was looking through a box that I have last night because it's got this ad on the back of it, and we played with blank 77, but it says blank 22 in here. But when I turned it around and looked at this,
Ah, that's funny as
Oh,
shit.
you motherfucker. That's funny. Wow.
So,
I was like, holy
yeah.
shit, man! I'm going to go talk to them tomorrow. I've got to take this with me.
That's
the one,
fucking
yeah.
unreal, man.
Bullshit.
Really?
So
I had completely forgotten about that magazine or whatever you call it. It's got an excellent article on the milestone.
Wow, that's
Scene
wicked.
scene.
Thank you very much, Chris.
that's very cool.
Christopher.
I could totally tell you about it. It's called.
Unreal. Bro.
So act. It was
Oh,
act.
that.
Who do you know who? 'Cause-
Yeah, I can tell you all about it. Kenneth Johnson.
Kenneth Johnson.
And I remember that name. I think he did even just write for the Observer or
Right, so
Creative Loafing,
you're
maybe?
totally right on board, and it goes back to a deeper story. So, like, what happened was, it involves Creative Loafing. Like, when Creative Loafing was trying to put boxes downtown, the Observer was trying to get laws passed to, like, say, hey, fuck you, you can't do that. They were giving Creative Loafing some shit and trying to, like, work with the city to block them out, especially downtown. And at the same time, it didn't work. And then so the Charlotte Observer started something called, I can't remember what it was called.
It was on Friday's newspapers.
Yeah.
It was something
Yeah,
about, but they
it was a
covered.
little insert.
Yeah,
Extra
they
or
covered
something.
like I think it was extra. I think it was
Like
it was called.
Focus, I think is what it's called.
Something like that. It was all about like local music and
Yep.
happenings on the weekend.
And they tapped Kenneth Johnson, I think is his name. I'm pretty sure. Who I don't think he uses that name anymore. By the way, to our earlier conversation.
That's his name, right?
I just don't think he uses that name. That person uses that name anymore.
Okay.
Anyway, point is, he started writing for that, and he like started coming to rehearse a lot, and he started writing about like some of those bands. He started writing about Kudzu, and then like on the side, him and
Right.
his girlfriend, I don't know, they were really cool. They came in and like
Man, hit it.
tried to do this act like on their own side. So they were like doing their thing on their own time, but like they were using the presses at Charlotte Observer to make that.
Oh yeah.
And so they only got so many months out of copies, and then Charlotte Observer's like, fuck you, you got to stop. And that's what happened to Ack. But it was, he was cool, dude. He was a cool guy.
I think he wrote about the accents once or twice. He was. I
Did he?
remember.
That's cool.
Like just a little brief write up in the Observer or Creative Loafing, one or the other.
Holy shit.
Damn, that's a moment in time.
Holy shit. No, but they were extremely nice people, man. Really cool to work with. I remember reading this interview going, I'm not sure if I said that, but
Feel my temperature. Sunlight's all I see. This place didn't want to be. Yes, it is. Till it's dramatized. That's how it must be. What will happen to me?
And then after that, things just sort of evolved a little bit more. You heard a little hint of it in those last clips, but out of context, you probably wouldn't even notice. Let's just say everybody was having a really good time and alcohol was involved, so it got a little bit more hectic, a little bit more of talking over each other, and a little bit more playfully argumentative. I had a blast with this interview and can't wait to do more interviews. Now, in the future, I will probably be doing more one-on-one interviews, just because it's much easier and much less chaotic. However, that will not be the last full band interview I do because it really was a whole lot of fun. One thing that we didn't get to in the interview, not even in that last 30 minutes, is what's next for Negulators. However, I do know the answer to that. They're currently taking a little bit of time off just to record some new material. They'll be back playing soon. Just keep an eye on their Facebook page. You'll probably hear about it first there. Now, as far as a release schedule for these podcasts, I really don't have one yet. I do know I'm going to be releasing episodes every Wednesday. However, I have not decided whether I'm going to start banking episodes of Gabba Gabba Hunt Talks or whether I'm going to release them as soon as I get them recorded. The next 2 weekends do have me recording 2 more episodes, and I'm already in talks for the 2 weekends after that. So it looks like I'll be getting these things recorded weekly. If I do decide to continue to release these weekly, Gabba Gabba Hunt Radio is not going anywhere. If I decide to release Gabba Gabba Hunt Talks weekly, after a couple of weeks, I'll bring Gabba Gabba Hunt Radio back weekly as well. So you'll be getting 2 episodes a week, 1 talks and 1 radio. I'm really excited about the potential of this project, and I want to bring these episodes to you as quickly as I can without overwhelming you. I also don't want to neglect one aspect of this project for another, so therefore I'd like to keep both formats of this podcast coming on a regular basis. I just have not figured out yet how much my free time is going to allow me to accomplish. If someone were to pay me to do this, you'd get new content all the time. But as long as I got to work a day job, we're going to go with weekly at best. And if you want to know more about Negulators and read a review of their first release, they're going to be in the first issue of the zine, which is actually the 3rd issue of the zine, considering I put 2 out 23 years ago. But it'll be the first new issue, coming out February 22nd. You can pick that up first, Freeman's Pub in Gastonia, North Carolina, when Van Huskins plays with No Anger Control and Trash Room. See you there.
Radio, coming in the stereo.
Use your radio voice, Mike.
If I was on the microphone and talking a little bit slower, I probably would be using my radio voice.
We're there. We're here.
Com check.
Okay.
Com
So,
check.
con-
Com check.
All right.
Com check.
I think this is going to be everybody's favorite part of the podcast to listen to.
This is a new game.
We're all using our radio voices at the same time.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Who has the best radio voice?
This is Mike. I'm here with the Negulators,
He is. He is.
and we're sitting around drinking beer,
Don't quote.
talking about the good old days.
Yes, of course. Yeah, Mom. Why not?
Why don't you ease on
But
into
what
this
is-
with us as
What
we
is what is a good old day?
bring you the acoustic storm.
And then I woke up.